Hey guys, welcome to Think Deeply, where we talk about things at the deepest level that we can. My name is Kay, and today we're going to be talking about criticizing people and about not recreating the wheel as we try to achieve our dreams. So on this channel, I try to be as authentic as possible, so I might just stop and be like, no, I'm putting on my camera face, I'm putting on my camera voice, stop, just be Kay. So I'm gonna be Kay, all right? So I'm gonna be Kay. That was like, it's vulnerable to be in front of a camera and not know who's watching, but I'm going to be vulnerable. I don't edit my videos at this point. Probably in the future we will. By the way, guys, news. My husband Jay is going to start making videos with me, yay! Which has always been our dream and our purpose for this channel. So when we do that, the videos will be much higher quality. And probably more engaging, because it's pretty interesting when we converse about a topic and talk back and forth from two different perspectives. So today's topic involves criticism and networking, / you don't have to achieve your dreams all by yourself. So I ran into a friend the other day, and so a little backstory. My husband and I were worship leaders at a church, which means, if you don't know, we're kind of in charge of the music for the church, and this friend was on our worship team, so he played piano with us. I sing, play guitar, and play piano, and my husband does the same. And so he was one of the piano players and one of the worship leaders before we came on as leaders at the church, and shortly thereafter he stopped coming to church, and he, I only see him in passing now. But it's always good when I get to see him again. And one thing we were talking about was how much he wants to play new pieces of music that are kind of outside the church genre that we kind of are part of. The way that we do music, he said it's very like 4-chord pattern, and you just do 4 chords over and over again. For those of you who aren't musical, it's kind of like redundant and not necessarily creative, but it is pop. It is common, and it's something that people who aren't musical can latch onto and understand what's going on, which is sometimes why the 4-chord structure is used in church music, specifically contemporary church music. So I was thinking, like, we actually don't play those kinds of boring songs as much anymore, and I actually talked about that. As I mentioned in my last video, I'm trying to be more authentic in my everyday life as well. So I was saying, like, you know, this song we're doing actually has a lot of 7th and 9th chords and all kinds of crazy things, suspended chords and stuff like that. And, you know, we do change it up sometimes, and it's great, and I love it. And he's like, yeah, like, cause like he said he loves that other styles of music, and I'm like, yeah, I totally know what you mean. I love it too. Just like the song I had just been on stage playing. We were at the church, and I just stepped off stage. We were practicing. So then he was like, he went on talking about it, like, kind of as if we still just play the 4-chord pattern, which we do sometimes a lot, continue to use in our church music structure. And I was thinking, though, because he was saying, like, yeah, I want to come back and I want to do music again, and I want to make it all different and all this stuff. And I was thinking, you haven't been around for 6 years. How do you know what it's been like the last 6 years? You're just, first of all, assuming that nothing has changed in our particular congregation. Number 2, you're assuming nothing has changed in the Christian genre world thing. So, like, I get my musical influences from other people. It's not like I'm doing music that is 20 years old necessarily. New people are coming up with new styles of music, and we even use some secular pop music in our worship services, and we sometimes rewrite the lyrics, and sometimes we don't need to. And like, not necessarily that pop is the most creative genre, but we're being creative with different genres, and I didn't feel judged. I didn't feel like it was an attack on me at all. We had like a great conversation, and it was just really friendly and really great. But later this morning, I was thinking about it, and I was like, how often Do we criticize something assuming that nothing has changed? Assuming that we know everything about it and that we are the judge and jury and we have the final verdict on the subject. I think it's very important for us to be humble and to realize that we don't know everything. Actually, Jay has been going through kind of learning that lesson a lot in his personal life, my husband, Jason. And it's so important to know we are young and we are not the be-all and end-all of wisdom, like especially being in our early 30s. But you feel like, hey, I know so much more than I did in my 20s, so much more than I did in high school. But realize, like, we don't know everything. When I'm 60, I'll probably think even more so, wow, I don't know everything. I think somebody's probably said that that is what wisdom is, realizing how much you don't know. When I was in college, one of my professors would always say, he wakes up every morning and says, I can't remember the exact quote, but something like, I'm a young man and I have a lot to learn, even though now he's an old man and now not an old man. But like he would say, I'm an old man and I'm a lot to learn. I have a lot to learn. He would always like make that joke about when he was a young man and now he's an old man, and yeah, saying that. Anyway, we have a lot to learn and we can learn from other people. And one thing that we've learned in our life, myself and Jason, we own our own music business. So we've had to learn a lot the hard way, and just by doing it, when you have your own business, you're a small business entrepreneur, self-starter, there are a lot of things that you have to learn, but you don't have to do it alone. You can definitely network with people, especially people who are gifted in areas you may not be. I started learning HTML and CSS and Dreamweaver. I use Dreamweaver to learn how to create websites, which you really don't need to do anymore. We right now use Squarespace as our website platform and we really don't have to do anything. But I am glad that I learned HTML. And I think that having that dichotomy between I want to know everything I possibly can to be the best person I can and the most well-rounded person, that part's awesome. And then the other part of I don't need to be the end and the beginning of my business. I don't need to be involved in everything. I don't need to do everything. I can delegate. I can partner with other businesses to handle certain services for me, things like that. I think that both things are good and both sides are true, and you need to be humble enough to realize you don't need to do anything yourself and ask for help and find help and network with people, but also realize that you can stretch yourself. You don't need to limit yourself and be like, yeah, I don't know about that. So yeah, I think that that's important. And I got that just out of a conversation with a friend I haven't seen in a long time, who just seemed to mention something that didn't ring true to how I viewed the world. And that's fine. It doesn't have to be threatening. It can be if somebody shares something with you and you kind of disagree, like I think my last video was on agreeing to disagree, right? So if you disagree, don't be like, oh, I'm threatened and I'm not secure in my beliefs anymore, or I can't talk to that person about this subject anymore, or anything like that. Think deeply about, what do I think about this opinion? What opinion do I have on this topic, and why? Why do I hold this belief, and why would that person say what they said? It's just interesting. So find something you guys can think deeply about today. And comment below if you've ever been criticized in maybe an unjust way, or a way that just wasn't 100% accurate, maybe 99% accurate, but not 100%. And you comment about why or why not, what you learned from that. We learn a lot from feedback and criticisms and what we can do better, but also maybe what you learned about why you do what you do that you didn't know before you contemplated their criticism of you. All right, thanks guys. Have a great day.